Hey guys, welcome back to a special Operation Media Report. This time we're not doing lore, we're not doing announcements. Instead, we're going to talk about our next starter deck, Iron Bloom, which came out today on the 26th of September. So we're going to look through all the cards in the starter deck. We're going to take a quick look and see if there's any cool rulings or anything that we need to be aware of. The rulings did get updated today with the suppression mechanic in there, so I would definitely take a look at that, and we'll roll on from there. And then I've got a couple of decks that, although may not be competitive, I was just kind of going, well, could we give some of these other decks a little bit more to work with and make them a little bit more feasible? So with that, let's go and get started, and let's take a look at starter deck 05 Iron Bloom. So first off, what we're going to go ahead and bring up is we're going to take a look at the starter deck. So all I am is I'm on the main Gundam page. I just selected Iron Bloom, and we'll go from there. We'll get all the alt-arts that have been announced. So we have Unforeseen Incident. We've seen this card, but this time we've got Galio getting manhandled by Mikazuki. Does the same thing where we're just going to minus 3 AP from a target. And then, just the plus version of that. A Gundam Barbados, 4th form. So choose one of your other units, deal 1 damage to it. It gets plus 1 AP. So on deploy, when damage, it gains suppression. So damage to the shields by an attack is dealt to the first 2 cards simultaneously. So this only works on shields. It does not mean that you get to smack a base and overturn a card. The base kind of fizzles this all out. So you got to take out that base, then you get to deal with this suppression. With suppression, the owner gets to resolve the card. So let's say that there's 2 bursts. One's a Corsica base and one's a pilot, or maybe it's 2 different bases that do something, or you get something as crazy as like a battle of aces and or close combat or something like that. The owner gets to resolve them, not the attacking player. So just keep that going forward when you're dealing with suppression as well. So got the Barbados 4th form, level 6 cost 4 AP, 4 health, or 4 AP, 5 health. It can self-damage itself, which helps gains its suppression. And then we'll get its full alt-art card with the Tekkadan. And then the Barbados 2nd form, well, this unit's damage gets plus 2, so it makes it a 4/4 essentially once it gets pinged. Linked with Mikazuki, Tekkadan Gundam frame. And then we've got the alt-art. And then we got the CGS mobile worker. Active main, rest this unit, choose one of your units, deal 1 damage to it, it gets plus 1. So this is another way you can damage one of your cards to get a slight ping effect off. Alt-art, and then the Grace custom, just your standard grunt unit, 2/1, 2/2, same thing as a Jim or a Jin, and everyone else is Aku. And then we've got the Gundam Gushian Rabake, choose 1 enemy, 4 less AP and rest it. It's a good way to get past blockers like the Lifrith and the Ale Strike and all those other ones. Probably it gets around the Freedom unpaired, so it's not a bad card if you're looking at resting something within there. Links with Akihiro Outland, and yeah, it's all right for its price. And then the Hyakurin, it's actually a pretty stellar card. I actually like this. It's like the Roselle, good stat line of 4/3, cost 2. It's pretty nifty. Get to play it soon. And then we got McGillis Schwable Greys. Choose 1 enemy unit that's level 3 or lower. It gets minus 2 AP per the turn. Typically what we've seen from the white group is that we're going to lower AP effects down. This will probably help you get used. That's nice that's when paired and not when linked, so you can even toss any one of your pilots on this guy just to get this effect off. I'd swing into for the turn to give it some survivability. So in fact, that only has 2 AP. It really needs it to survive against most cards around that level anyway. And then we got the Gallahorn background. It's actually not bad alt-art. I like it. The Gray's commander type. Got your blocker, a 3/2, same thing as the Sword. The difference is this guy can actually swing into an opponent. Makes it a little bit better than that, and it comes with a Gallahorn trait, so you can even put McGillis on this guy too and swing into your opponent as well with it. Standard Grays, 2/1, grunt, 2/2. And then we got Mikazuki August. Burst, add this card to your hand. choose one of your units, and one of your enemy units, deal 1 damage to them. So we got FAQ on here. Can this effect be only chosen to any units when there are no enemy units at play? No, you must be able to choose both units to activate it. So you do not get to do half of it. You have to fulfill the whole requirement for the whole proc effect goes up. That was updated today. +2 attack, +1 AP. And then we've got Akihiro Outland, same thing, a burst. During your turn, when this unit destroys an enemy with battle damage, choose 1 Tekkagen unit card that is level 2 lore from your trash, add it to your hand. Get a one-ball worker. You can probably get one, maybe your little peon card back into your hand as well to help out with. Otherwise, just a 1/1. And then this is McGillis Farid. If you have 2 or more Gjallarhorn or Tekkagen units to play, choose 1 enemy unit with 3 HP or less and rest it. It's good for getting around, Resort, the Grace Commander type in your mirror matches tomorrow. If you have a damaged Elfrith, good way of dealing with that as well. It's nice to have when they have impaired effect and not when linked. And then with Ironblood, this has become a card that I'm trying to make work a lot because I think that +3 AP for dealing 1 of damage to your unit can come in handy. I have a couple of decks that are using this card as a focus to try to get through certain things. 2/1's command, easy to play early on in the game as well. And then we got Fatal Strike. First, choose 1 enemy unit, deal 1 damage to it. Main, choose 1 enemy unit that's level 3 or lower and destroy it. So this is very handy when you get past low-level blockers, or one of those tokens even can get destroyed by this. I don't know if you want to pay 2 to destroy a token, but there's worse things out there. And then we've got Fatal Strike again. And the Isaribi, 3/1 base to play this card. Add 1 shield to your hand, rest the space, choose 1 of your damage units. It gets +2 AP. So this helps since we're already self-damaging it. It can give a boost to your card. So theoretically, you can get away with resting this base, pinging it with Mikazuki or the worker and get a +3 as well. And since this is activating main, it means that the base survives. You can get off the effect more than once without having to damage your character. And then that's it for this page. And then we'll go on to page 2. Well, that's everything. So that's everything in the starter deck. So some things to consider while we are working with the starter decks is that a lot of self-damage. I highly doubt that you're going to be able to get other booster packs from this and work with it. So keep in mind when you're trading damage, be careful how much damage you're dealing to yourself. It can make it easy for your opponent just to swing in with something else or finish off with the Mikazuki effect. And then be careful with your link pairs. I mean, we're looking at only a total of 6 pilots, 2 Mikazukis, 2 McGillis, and 2 Akihiros. So you're not going to get a lot of proc effects for your... it doesn't look like we're going to get a lot of link effects when we need it to. Tomorrow's going to be kind of a battle of attrition. Whoever can... I would assume that suppression may not be too impactful until you get past some of the blockers, and the fact that there's only 2 bases makes it easier for it to come off as well. So when you see this, get rid of it on your opponent's field as fast as you can because they're going to smash through bases pretty quick. Thankfully, there's no high maneuver, and there's nothing else that you have to worry about. But yeah, we'll take a look at some decks that I was kind of eyeing. These are not decks that I think are competitive. They're just stuff that I want to play with to see if they can make them viable. So this is a purple-red deck that I was kind of looking around because there's a couple of things that I like about this is that, one, it's more mid-rangey and it's very combo-heavy, so I don't think it's viable in, against more consistent decks, but you can get away with some fun combos. One of the things I wanted to play around with is like with this Lego, choose... if this unit has 5 or more AP and is attacking an enemy unit, choose 1 enemy unit, deal 2 damage to it. So pairs with any Zap, so you can throw your Ezak on there and still get away with that on the first turn. Why do we just care about just not playing, Andy Wallfield in this deck? Well, you still can, it just was a room issue. I like the dual Gundam's breach effect a little bit too, where we can get that +5 AP. We can proc that a little bit better with the Isaribi and a few other cards. And then the Assault Shroud, when the paired top 3 cards, you can deploy a Zaft card level 4 or lower. So it allows us to play the Blitz out, it plays the Legos. So, and our Corsair Gen. So there's some synergy here with some of that. The one thing I do want to try to proc is this here is that choose one of your Zaft units with 4 or more AP against first strike. You can get away with that a lot more with the Isaribi and the with Blood and Iron in this deck to get some of these cards moving quicker for all of these guys as well. So the fact that you get first strike on these guys and possibly take out an enemy unit is kind of nice. And then Ezek's ability is not too bad. You can draw a card when an enemy link unit is destroyed with damage while this unit's attack and draw a card. It kind of helps you with the lack of draw that this color combo has. Other than that, I tossed in the Gushian just for the rest effect, help you get past some of the annoying blockers. Fatal Strike as well to help kill some stuff early on in the game. Tokens, blockers that are early on. And then the Isaribi's there to help pump up your characters a little bit more. If your character's already damaged, you get the benefit of doing that. So it might be fun to toy around with. I'm kind of curious if I can make this work or not by summing on a couple of cards here and there. But a lot of buffs just to help get the Lego and the Blitz stuff off a little bit more efficiently as well. All right, this is the not so traditional version. This one is kind of hit on this. I've seen like Eggman and a few other people kind of playing around with this. I decided to go with a little bit more synergy with the links for Gun Cannon, and then Kai's ability to recover health off of your units helps out too. You can ping your own Gundam. I put 2 Fatal Strikes, or sorry, 2 Fatal Strikes in here and 3 Iron Bloods just to make this a little bit more effective. I know one of the things that this color had was how you deal with like Wing Zero and stuff like that. Well, with Iron Blood, and then you link that, you know, it gets you up to the necessary amount to now take out a Wing Zero with that. You get up to 3 + 3 is 6, so that gives you 8. It doesn't straight out kill a Wing Zero paired with a hero, but you're only one off at that point, and you can just slap down a gun tank and just take it out. Other than that, we've got our standard, you know, low ground cards, you know, with your gems, praises, the Rizels, stuff that are pretty low to the ground, probably more mid-range with the Korska based that we've seen with like the 1-year rush deck's been pretty effective with play out the Talgis and some Leos for some early aggression. And then we have a little bit of draw with the Show of Resolves in there. All right, so instead of doing the traditional freedom blockers or justice blockers or however you want to put them, I decided to go back to school, literally, with the academy cards. So I decided, it's like, well, I'm pretty sure everyone's going with freedom because, you know, it's such a good package. But I'm like, let's branch out. So we went ahead and put in the standard Zords, the Lifrits. We put some Pharax in just because we could get away with pairing it with both Choo Choo and Soletta. One of the things I like about this is that we can get our with Blood and Irons back with the effect from our commands from the aerial rebuild. So it allows us to pull back with Blood and Iron again, or for our unforeseens, our Fatal Strikes all come back as well. So everything in this deck is able to be brought back, and we got our draw with it. So I was able to pair with, you know, at least 8 cards in this deck, which makes it helpful too to get that ability off to help us play some of those actions that reoccur. And then we've got our standard, you know, package of Barbadoses and Hyakurins, just because this is such a good card to put in here, in my opinion. And then, you know, we get some Choo Choo action in here where, you know, we end up biasing some AP, so it helps out too for trying to preserve some health of some of our characters as well as we swing into stuff and hopefully survive them. So it's probably okay. I don't think there's really much. I think if you're going to play this, you might want to play this right package just because there's more efficiency and better blockers in there at the end. But this might be fun if you just like to play actions and get stuff. I mean, I put in the Witch and the Bride, 2 of those in here as well, just to help bounce some annoying effects back. Especially if characters have like an Ale Strikeout, you can just like, no, send that back and kind of move on with life from there. But I thought that was kind of clever. And then let's talk about this. All right. Green. What do we have in green? We have High Maneuver and we have Breach as our main ones. So not much to work with. No draw natively in this deck, unfortunately. So I decided to go a little bit more on Breach for this. I think we can get around some of the higher end blockers earlier with the fact that we could potentially ping our Zaku with Iron and Blood and make that go +5. So it's a 6. It crushes bases at that point, and it might be okay. Riptoms, Shenlong Gundams, Wing Gundams, all breach to kind of keep the pressure on destroying bases a little bit more efficiently as well. Wing Zero to kind of clean up at the end to help stabilize, just to see people in the wares that I've got a Wing Gundam, don't go wide, might scare some folks off. And then we've got our Isaribis and stuff, because likely you're going to take some damage, so it's nice to pump up those cards just to help destroy more cards and give you a hand. But I think the lack of draw in this color package makes this deck a little bit harder to gain some victories, but it was either that or go with high maneuver, and either way you're still in a bad spot with that. Especially if you're having an issue just getting cards out. I think tokens are not the way to go, because most of our tokens have 1 health, and so pinging them with Iron Blood was just not going to be really intuitive. And that's it. So I know that there's an issue with product. I know some places did not get an allocation. What I can hopefully tell you folks is that work with your community, see if they will get the local game stores on at least on the same page as you guys to allow proxies for the next 2 weeks until more stuff gets in. I have a feeling this will be kind of like how set 1 was, where there was an initial wave, and then 2 to 3 weeks later we got more product in, and then once we get through a certain stage, we'll probably see more. I know that it's unfortunate that we were so short-handed at the beginning, but someone who came from Lorcana, it's basically, this is par for the course for almost any card game now. People don't gauge the interest, and because they don't, we no longer get the product for sandwich. I can understand, but good luck to you all. If you enjoy your events, if you're able to attend them, get your promos, make sure that your stores aren't selling them from underneath you, and have fun. And then next week we'll get back to our regular scheduled programs with some more. We'll focus on Mikazuki August and the Gundam Barbados. Have a good one.